Math 9. Okay, so for Math 9, you had homework that required you to do some graphing. The answers for that are not at the back of the book. So I have picked out the ones that I think are the most important in terms of graphing. And I'm going to do those so that you can look at your work and make sure that you have it correct. Again, when I check your homework, I am not going through question by question and looking at every single answer. If I did that, that's all I would do from dawn till dusk, and I don't want to do that. You have answers at the back of the book. You are old enough and you should be responsible enough to be checking your answers and then to be asking questions if you need to. But again, the graphing ones really aren't at the back of the book. So I am going to just go over some homework questions today, and I think that's all we'll do today. I was gonna add on a lesson, but I don't think I will. I think I'll make it a nice easy day for you and me, and I think I will leave it at doing the answers because that'll be probably a good 20 minutes of watching a video. That's a long enough math period for the day, right? So don't let anyone tell you I'm awful. All right, so number 34 I want to look at, and it says draw each triangle on grid paper. So it tells you you have to draw the original triangle. Then draw the translation image. Again, very important that you're reading the directions and doing specifically what it asks you to do. If it doesn't ask you to graph, I'm not a stickler about that. If you are capable of doing it in your head without drawing the picture, if it doesn't say to graph it, more power to you. However, some of you like to think that you can do it because you don't want to be bothered to graph it, and it doesn't work out so well for you. So if you find that you're not getting the right answers just by doing it in your head, that tells you you need to be drawing the picture. Okay, I need to be drawing the picture most of the time. Like it's not anything horrible. I do it. I like to see things. So number 34 says point A is 3 and 2. And some of you said I don't have graph paper. Well, in the last video I said if you don't have graph paper, A, get some if you can. B, if you can't, or at least until you can use loose leaf, but you must do complete labeling of your picture, which is exactly what I do when I do it on the whiteboard, because I don't have graph paper on the whiteboard, and I've become very skilled at doing it without the graph paper. But again, it means I label everything. So point A is 3 and 2. So my X is 3, 1, 2, 3. My Y is 2, 1, 2. So 3 and 2, and that's point A. So I put the point, I put the location, and I put the letter on it. B is -1 and 4. So back 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And point C is -3 and -5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is C. So when I play connect the dots, I have this triangle. I'm doing almost the same thing with Math 12 right now, where we're drawing triangles and stuff. Now, the translation image it wants is it says, it does it in the mapping rule, and it says x minus 4 and y plus 2. Now the mapping rule tells you exactly what to do, and you can either do the math to figure it out, or you can just count squares. It's up to you. So for point A, x minus 4 means go back 4. So if I go back 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that brings me to -1, right? Because 3 minus 4 is -1. And then I go up 2. So 1, 2. It actually brings me here. So A prime, in other words, my A point after I've moved it is -1 and 4, which is actually where B is. For B, I'm going to move it back 4, which is going to bring me to -5. And again, you can just count squares. I can start here and go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then up 2, 1, 2. So B prime is going to be at -5 and 6. And then point C, I'm going to go back 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is going to bring me to -7, and up 2, which is going to bring me to -3. -5 plus 2 would be -3. So -7 and -3 is C prime. Again, for those of you without graphing paper, see that I am labeling everything very clearly. So, triangles in the same direction, it's the same size, it's just moved. It is just translated, it is relocated to a new place. Excuse me, Rolly. So that's 34. 36. I don't know if you can hear the dog barking in the background, but she goes outside. We have a dog door. She goes outside, and then it's like she forgets that the door works both ways, and she can come back in, and she goes outside and barks until you walk to the door and go, "You can come in now," and she comes in the door. I don't know what's wrong with her. All right, 36. Point R is at 0 and 0. I like 0 and 0, easy to find. Point R is at 0 and 0. Sorry. S is at -4 and 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, but up none. So -4 and 0. That is S. And point T is -3 and -5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -3 and -5, that is point T. So again, there she be. Now it says x plus 2 and y plus 3. Whoops, x plus 2, y plus 3. All right, so again, that means 2 forward and up 3. So from here, I go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So 2 and 3 is R prime. So here, forward 2, 1, 2, that brings me to -2, and up 3, 1, 2, 3. So I'm at -2 and 3. That is S prime. And T would be forward 2, 1, 2, which brings me to -1, and up 3, 1, 2, 3, brings me to -2. So -1 and -2. So again, same shape, same size triangle, just relocated. 37, sorry, Rolly. 37 is if you want, it's a word problem. I mean, it's not really, but they put a lot of words there, but the important bits are in math. It says the translation 2 and 3. Okay, the translation 2 and 3 translates triangle ABC so that the coordinates of the vertices of the image A prime, B prime, C prime are A prime is 3 and 4. Now this one does not ask us to graph. So if you did not graph this one, that's fine. I'm graphing it because typically I have questions on this question. No one's asked yet, but typically I have questions on this question. So I'm just answering before a problem arises, okay? So again, it does not ask you to draw it, but for those of you who are like me and seeing it helps, then draw it. It doesn't take long. So A prime is 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 and 4, that is A prime. B prime is 0 and 7. So 0 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's B prime. And C is -2 and -1. 1, 2, -1. That is C prime. So what they're saying is, after I did this to the graph, that's where I ended up. So their question is, where did the graph start? What was the original triangle? Where was it? So if to get to that, I added 2 and added 3, which is what that is saying in the ordered pair form, right? With the square brackets, that's giving you directions. If to get there, I added 2 and I added 3, then to go back to the original, I do exactly the opposite. Rather than add 2, I subtract 2. Rather than add 3, I subtract 3. So for point A, I would go back 2, and I would go down 3. 1, 2, 3, which would bring me to 1 and 1. That is originally where A was until it got moved to there. So for B, I would go back to 1, 2. That would bring me to -2. And I would go down 3. 1, 2, 3. Which would bring me to -2 and 4. And again, you can either just count squares or do the math. 0 take away 2 is -2, and 7 take away 3 is 4. Or you can count squares on your graph paper, whichever works for you. So here, I have to go back to 1, 2, which brings me to -4, and down 3, 1, 2, 3, which also brings me to -4. So -4 and -4, that is my C. Sorry, this is my B. So again, same size triangle as what the red one was, going in the same direction, but originally the black one was here and it got moved to the red. Okay. Last one I'm going to do, and that's all I'm going to ask of you today, because I'm nice like that. Okay. For 38, it says triangle RST has vertices at 3 and 0. 1, 2, 3. So 3 and 0, that is point R. S is at -1 and 5. So -1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is S. And T is -3 and 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. So again, there's my triangle. All right, so now let's see what the directions tell me to do. First it says draw it. Okay, done. Drew it. Part B says determine the coordinate of the vertices after the translation x plus 4 and y plus 2 and draw it. So I can't even remember what I said. X plus 4 and y plus 2. X plus 4 and y plus 2. Okay, so I'm going to draw that because it says to draw it and give the coordinates. Well, I'm going to give the coordinates because I'm not using graph paper. I'm going to label it. Even if you were using graph paper, if it said give the coordinates and draw it, if you just want to put the coordinates right onto the graph paper, that's fine. That's still giving me the coordinates as long as they're listed somewhere. So for R, add 4 means I'm going to go forward 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, which brings me to 7 and up 2. 1, 2. So I'm going to be at 7 and 2. That is R prime. That's a really bad 7. For T, I'm going to go forward 4, which is going to bring me to 1. And I'm going to go up 2. So 1, 2, which is going to bring me to 3. So I am now at 1 and 3. And that is T prime. I move T before S, doesn't make any difference in the world. And then this one is x plus 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, which is going to bring me to 3, and up to 1, 2, which is going to bring me to 7. So 3 and 7 is S prime. So again, should be exactly the same as that triangle, just moved. All right, so that was part B. Part C, I'm going to do that in a different color. Hold on, let me find another color. I'll go into my, you guys are probably too young to know what a tickle trunk is, so I'm going into my tickle trunk. It's from a kid's show called Mr. Dress Up. His tickle trunk was where all the dress up toys were. All right, so let me see, does that, yeah, okay, that's a good color. So it says in part C, apply the translation x plus 1 and y minus 5. Oh my goodness, guys, shut up. Hey, hey. They're harder to control than a classroom. Okay. It says for C, apply that translation to R prime, S prime, and T prime, and find the new coordinates. So they're saying do this, but don't do it to the black one. Don't do it to the original. They're saying do this to the red one. They're saying do this translation to R prime, S prime, and T prime. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to start at the red triangle, and I'm going to add 1 to my x. So I'm going to go forward 1 to 8, and I'm going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which brings me to 8 and -3. I'm going to call it R prime prime because I've moved it twice now. S, I'm going to go forward 1, so that's going to bring me to 4, and I'm going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is going to bring me to 4 and 2. This is S prime. And then T, I'm going to go forward 1 to 2, and I'm going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is going to bring me to 2 and -2. 3 take away 5 would be -2. And that is T prime prime. That was S prime prime, sorry. And so again, same size triangle, just moved. It is really, really, really important that you are neat when you do this, because imagine me sitting at a computer with something that you've taken a picture of and uploaded. So it's, for some of you it's really good when you do it. For some of you it's not as good, but that's okay. It's still good. But imagine me trying to read this on a computer screen if this is a mess, if it's not labeled well, if and I actually recommend different colors. Use a highlighter. Make this one your pencil. Make this one a blue highlighter and this one a yellow highlighter or something. It does help. Some of you have different colored pens. It does help. It helps me doing it. It even helps you keep yourself straight as you're doing the question. So just little tips on keeping yourself organized and how to best give the information for someone who's trying to look at it after you. Remember, I'm not in your head. I don't know what you're thinking. The only thing I have in front of me is whatever you put on that sheet of paper. That's all I have to go by. I don't know what you're thinking. So you have to make it as clear as you can. All right, that's all I'm doing today. I'm not going to give you any homework because I'm just not. Tomorrow we will talk about reflections, all right? So I'll talk to you then. Bye.